Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. My name is Bernadette Desir, and I'm your host. And joining me today is Lincoln Kokaram. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm
Thank you.
glad to be here with you, Bernadette.
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. So, where about are you?
Right now, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Um, Originally, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, like you. And
Yes.
I like to tell people I was imported into the United States in 1985. And another good story, where somebody recognize your potential
hmm
and invite you to come. And I was a member of I'm a life member, but at that time I was an active member of JC's International,
Oh.
and I was vice president of JC's International. They
hmm
have since changed their name to Junior Chamber International, but at that time in 1984, I was vice president of JC's International, campaigning for executive vice president. So my goal, Bernadette, was to become a world president one day. That was my goal. But in June of 84, while I was campaigning, I get a phone call from the Secretary General of the World Headquarters in Coral Gables. His name was Richard Hayward. And the conversation went something like this. Hey, Lincoln. Hey, Richard. How's it going, man? What can I do for you? And he said, Lincoln, we know you're running for executive vice president, and we know if you run, you're going to win. Everybody loves you. You've done a great job for us. And Bernadette, when you're having a conversation with somebody and they say, but, you better raise your antenna.
Oh, yeah.
But, we need a director of training at the world headquarters here in Coral Gables, Florida. And we've looked around and we would like for you to be that person. And if you agree, we will make all the arrangements. Now, I didn't even know they were looking, right?
Yeah.
But I love training. It's my passion.
Mm.
And he heard me train before, he heard me speak, but look at the divine intervention here.
hmm
The year before I had gotten divorced, and I'm not a fighter. I'm not a hold on. I walked away from everything. I was starting all over again. And I had a good support system there in the islands, my brothers and sisters, friends, family. So it was no big deal, no trauma or anything like that. I said to him, let me pray about this and I'll get back to you. I
hmm
prayed about it and I got a sense. The Lord said, Lincoln, you need a break. Go.
hmm
So I called him. I said, all right, Richard, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
March 7, 1985, I landed in Miami International Airport with two suitcases in my hand, and the rest is history. Amazing. It's like this man recognized my potential and he gave me an opportunity to let it go, to unleash it.
Yeah.
And you know what, Bernadette, every project they gave me turned to gold. They sent me all over the world. And the people embraced me. They enjoyed what I had to say and the teaching. Oh my God, what a blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing. I
Yeah.
got remarried and I'm back here. But we all, every one of us in the world,
hmm
is full of potential. Some of us have discovered what that potential is. Some of us are still in the blind. But there are ways for us to find out what our potential is, what we are good. First, we got to acknowledge God does not make junk. He created every one of us in his own image. That's amazing. He didn't create the lions and the tigers and in his image. He created you, Bernadette, and me, and all the people in his image. That's the start of your potential.
Yeah.
That's just start. Now, there are things you can do. You can do an assessment. Strength Finder 2.0 is a good place to start. I'm a social and emotional intelligence coach, and we have learned the emotional intelligence gurus will tell you 80% of how we behave is impacted by our emotions. But if we're not aware of it, we are so reactive human beings, we do and say things before we even think. But when we do the assessment, we know what we are good at and what we are not so good at. So we can go after the things we are good at, and that will almost guarantee success. And the things we're not so good at, we get help. It's a wise person who knows when to ask for help, not a lazy person, but a wise person to know when to ask. I'm not good at computers, so if I have to do something with a computer, I call a friend. Hey, I need some help with this, can you come help me? It's
Yeah.
not working, kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know I'm a gifted teacher, I'm a gifted preacher, I'm a gifted speaker. I love it. It's not work. So I go after those things. And it fulfills your life. When you're living your full potential, when you're living your full potential, life becomes exciting. It's not boring. It becomes joyful. And guess what? You're helping other people to
Yeah.
be the best they were designed to be. That's my personal mission in life. Potential. Again, it doesn't matter where you come from. I was born in a jupa. You know what's an jupa? A,
Nope. What is it?
a mud house covered with palm branches.
Mm.
We didn't have running water. We didn't have a stove. We used wood fire to cook. And boy, the food tastes so good. My mother she was a miracle maker.
Mm.
But that never held me back. I see how the Lord opened doors over and over again. And today, I'm doing my own training and consulting, touching souls all over the world,
Yeah.
kind of deal. And thank God for technology. Like you in Canada, I'm in the United States, and it looks like we're in the same room talking to each other. What a
Yeah. 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 I agree.
so you see, when you want to do something, you have that desire to do it, you will look for a way to do it. We find what we look for. If in life we look for solutions, we're going to find solutions. If we look for at all a negative, and that would just hinder us from being the best we were designed to be. And then we got to know, my mother told me something when I was a young man. Son, show me your friends, and I will know who you are.
Mm.
Who we hang out with.
Yeah.
Hang out with positive people, people who appreciate you, who love you, who care about you, who inspire you, who recognize your potential and help you open doors and create opportunities for you to use your skills and your gifts to help other people.
Yeah.
Choose well. Choose well. I'm not saying to ignore other people, but know who are your real friends.
Mm-hmm.
We have acquaintances, we have friends. Like there's no social media kind of deal. They're not friends.
Nope.
They're just, a person out there. Hey, I like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's
so
true.
that's
Yeah.
a assessment. Find out where you are today. What are my strengths? What are the areas that I need to grow in?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do for people. What are your strengths? Because self-awareness leads to better self-management.
Mm-hmm.
Other awareness, and we're dealing with people all the time, leads to better relationship management. And isn't that what life all about? Relationship. Right now, you and I are having a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a good, joyful relationship. We seem to click. I mean, we're from the island, so that's a good thing. Yeah. But
Yeah.
life is
I
better,
love I love people.
oh yeah.
I
What
don't
else is
always love
there?
people's decisions, but I love
No,
them.
the person. Yeah. The
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
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 When you have hatred in your heart, you hurt yourself more than the people who are receiving it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So if you're not sure what your gifts, there is an assessment for about spiritual gifts assessment.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what your spiritual gifts are, just email me and say, hey, send me that spiritual gift. There's no cost for that. You want to know what your social and emotional intelligence profile is all about? There's a small cost for that.
Mm-hmm.
So check on my website. I can That's what I do. Help
Wow.
people
Yeah.
to find out what's the best you that you
Mhm.
can be and live life to your fullest. Too many people. Oh my goodness. Too many people. You know, I'm sorry, but too many
Yeah.
people are settling for okay. And Bernadette, with all due respect to the guys who wrote that book, I'm okay, you're okay. I'm here to tell you, and you're not okay. I'm not
Mhm.
okay. You're
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
great. Be
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
settle for okay.
Mhm.
Aim for the skies. That's another great thing my mother told me when I was about 18, 19. She said, son, and I'm telling you just how she told me. She was a school teacher. She said, son, aim for the skies.
Mm.
If you aim for the skies and you miss, you're going to fall on the clouds. And that's a fluffy landing. You're not going to get hurt. And it's still up there. If you aim for the clouds and you miss, you're going to fall on the mountaintops. And you're going to get bruised. You might even get a couple broken bones. That's going to hurt you, son. If you aim for the mountaintops and you slip and fall and you miss, you're going to fall on the ground. You're going to die. They're going to have to scrape you off the ground. I have I took that advice to heart, and I am always aiming for the skies.
Mm.
Always aiming for I never thought I'd be an author. I've already published 2 books, and the third one is published. Just yesterday, I got the email is published.
Mm.
So, and who knows what's next? You see, that's the other thing, people. What's coming?
Mm.
Better days are coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better days are coming. No matter what you're going through right now, is only for a short time. This too shall
Mm.
pass.
Mm.
And you'll be able to live your full potential. The
Yeah.
world needs you and me to be the best that we were designed to be.
Yeah.
Be your best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Thank you so much for sharing. You have lived. And it shows in your wisdom, your passion, and the way you carry yourself and in the work that you do. Thank you. Thank you so much. There's so much I want to unpack, so many questions I have for
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
I want to get to know you a bit more on a
Okay.
personal level, if that makes sense.
Sure.
What you talk about your faith a little bit. What does
Yeah.
your faith mean to you?
But here's the deal. I grew up in the church. I was baptized as a baby. I had no control over that. My parents took me. In the culture that we grew up, mama said, you got to go to church, you got to go to church. You don't argue with mama.
Yeah.
And you know what? I am glad she brought me up in the church
Mm.
because you see, we've been taught that practice makes perfect. But if you're practicing the wrong way of doing something, you become perfectly good at doing it wrong. Practice makes permanent. We
Mm.
become what we practice. So when I left Trinidad and like the Sunday, I was like a fish out of water. I need to find a church. I'm missing something in my life.
Hmm.
And it's amazing. So faith, faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life. That's the first tenet of the J.C. Creed. We
Hmm.
believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life. The Lord will not disappoint us. Man will disappoint us. Everybody else, politicians, they will disappoint us, but not the Lord. That's where we put our faith in.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what has kept me through the years. I have had a wine and roses life all my life. I've gone through many trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
but for His grace, divine intervention, the fact that I know He's my rock. The storms of life will come, but if I stand firm in my faith, I will survive.
Mm.
I will make it.
Yeah.
So, and then I came face to face with Him. I read that book, Knowing God by J.I. Packer. I would recommend that book because you see, knowing about somebody is okay, but knowing them personally,
Mm.
and how do you get to know somebody? You spend time with them, you communicate with them, you trust them, they trust you.
Hmm.
So it is a constant communication. Like yesterday, I was on a road trip driving from Slidell back. It's a 7-hour drive. I made a decision, turn off the radio and just talk to your Heavenly Father. And he and I had a nice conversation because, I was thanking him for all the blessings from since I was a little boy and growing up in Trinidad and Tobago. My parents thanking him for that I grew up in the church, kind of deal, thanking him for how he sent me all over the world. And because remembrance of the good blessings
Mm-hmm.
would take away the troubles and ease your mind. We tend to forget the blessings when the troubles come. That's the time to remind yourself
Mm-hmm.
it's not all that bad. And this
Yeah.
will only last for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go
you
ahead.
know, if I did not have faith, I would not be talking to you today.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I would not.
Me
I
too.
would be somewhere I might be in the grave or somewhere.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
You just spoke life over somebody. I don't know.
yeah. But my faith,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
know, there were two times in my life where I considered suicide.
Mm.
And my faith is what prevented me
Yeah.
because Lord, take me home. I want to come home, Jesus, now. And you
Mm.
know what he said to me? Lincoln, that's not your choice. You did not decide the hour or the day you entered into that world. You do not decide when you leave. That's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernadette, that saved me on those two occasions. I haven't thought about it since.
Wow.
But
Thank
it's
you for
God's will.
sharing. Yeah.
God's will, not my will. I always say, have your way with me, Jesus, because your way is the best way.
Mm.
Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, but to prosper you and give you hope for a future. I live that. I live it. Every time I start doubting and feeling, I go there. The word, feed on the word,
Yeah.
feed on
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You touched on a bit earlier about potentials. That's the name of my podcast, the Unleashing Potentials.
yeah.
And that word, I don't know if I'll ever continue to find the proper word to describe it to anybody. It's
Mhm.
just it's a soul resonance. Obviously, people know what unleashing potential means, but what
Yeah.
does it mean for them? And talk to us more of how my generation can learn from your generation and how we can continue to break the barriers because this world, it's a mess. There's a lot
It
of
is.
judgment,
It's
shame,
a
and
mess.
barriers. Yeah, so
Yeah.
talk to us about that a bit.
Okay. We can use an illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Think about a piece of gold in the ground. It's there. So the miner digs it out. When it comes out, it's still got mud and dirt around it. But to get the full benefit of the gold, he has to remove the mud and the dirt. Now you can see the gold. We all have this shell around us, but sometimes we need a coach to help us to find our potential. Think about an athlete growing up, like you and I, we grew up with soccer in the backyard, and then
Yeah.
somebody said, wow, he's got special skills. He got potential. He can be a superstar.
Mm.
So it takes sometimes an external source to recognize your potential and then guide you along the way. But you got to be willing. Hello. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be willing and believing. And always remember, God does not make junk. Some of us are called to be teachers. Some of us are called to be servants. Some of us are called to be mechanics. Some of us are called to be preachers. Some of us are called to be writers. We all have our gifts. We got to find it out. What's my gift? Remove all the barriers and find out what's my gift. Jesus said, ask and you shall find, seek and you shall find. Ask him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Tell me what my gift is.
Yeah.
Tell me, please.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
He might send somebody to tell you, like he sent Richard Hayward to tell me what my gift was.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened up a whole new world for me.
Yeah.
Coaches, I played cricket, I played soccer growing up, and then the coaches said, go to the left side of the field. You're good with your left foot. That's the other thing. We are not good listeners. Listening. What's that audio? Hold on. Oh my goodness.
No ways.
Listening is the most used communication skill, but is the least taught.
Mm.
And look how God designed us. 2 ears, 1 mouth. And he said, if we will learn to listen more before we speak, before we act, our world will be
Yeah.
such a powerful,
Mhm.
powerful, peaceful, loving, kind world if we could learn to listen more before
Mhm.
we speak and before
Yeah.
we take
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to potential, um, it's hard and it's easy at the same time because there are people who are there to destroy us. And that is, in a way, a gift if we see it that way. Because there are people who will not see that what we're doing is good or that
Mhm.
it's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did ask God, and the vision I got was me speaking in front of thousands of people. And I'm like, the devil is a liar. Let me go pray again.
Amen. Amen.
Right, right. Because I'm just walking by faith. I don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring, but I'm just walking. And I don't have the answers. I'm just walking by faith.
Yep. And as long as we keep our eyes on him, we
Hmm.
will walk on water. When we take our eyes off of him and look at the trials and tribulation, then we start sinking. Keep your eyes on Jesus.
Hmm.
Let him be your guide.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have, you see, some people, they want all the answers now. You don't.
Yeah.
As you
Yeah.
go, he will give you the answers.
Yeah.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. In his heart, a man makes his plan, but the Lord guides his footsteps.
Hmm.
So be willing to accept a change.
Hmm.
I was willing to accept a change. And that's how I came to this country, and that's how I got to go all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Change is hard though. It's
It
really
is
hard.
hard, but
It's
you
worth
got
it.
to, but you see, we live in a changing world. Every day
Mhm.
you hear about some change or the other. So
Yeah.
now the thing is, we need, okay, let me give you a little example here.
Hmm.
A couple of years ago, I got a call from the executive vice president of human relations resources from UPS. The headquarters is right here in Atlanta. They wanted me to come and talk to their people. And the topic they gave me was coping with change. So I said to the EVP, I said, Terry, can I edit that topic a little bit? She said, okay, what do you want to call it? I said, I don't want to stand on your stage and tell your people I'm here to talk to you about coping with change. That
Mm.
word coping is a downer. We were not
Yes.
designed to cope. I want to stand on your stage and I want to tell your people I'm here to talk to you about capitalizing on change. Because we live in a changing world. We need to learn to embrace the change, make the best of the change,
Hmm.
and choose which change we will accept and which we will just reject. You have the power to
Mm.
make the choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So you've been speaking for over about 41 years. That's a
Yes.
long time. I've been speaking
Yes.
for what feels like 3 months. So give me some tools or things that you use to speak because all of us can speak, but
Yeah.
when we're speaking, do people actually listen? What do you use to catch people's attention
That-
to have
The
them
first, yeah,
stay?
the first 10, 15 seconds is the time when you're going to have to grasp their attention. So you got to find people like to hear a funny story. So you tell a joke, so
Yeah.
they laugh. You
Hmm.
know, like one of my favorite things to do, I will stand up on the stage and say, if you can hear me, clap once. So they clap, you have engagement.
Yeah.
If you're happy to be here, clap twice.
Mm.
And then at UPS, I said, if you believe that we are living in a changing world, clap 3 times. I have their attention because they're responding. They're responding. And then during the speech, raise your hand if, you
Mm,
want to get engagement. I like to stand up if, sit, stand. Say hello to the person next to you. So you put things in there like when I do my passion workshop, I like to tell them, turn to the person next to you and tell them that they are the most unique creation in the whole wide world.
mm,
Yeah, and call them my name.
yeah.
So engagement is one thing. The other thing is you're not there to inspire the people of how smart you are.
Mm-hmm.
So stick to your topic, and at the same time, don't overwhelm them with too much information. You've heard of information overload?
Mm-hmm.
So my key, when I coach speakers, I said, you start with tell them what you're going to tell them.
Yeah.
Today I'm going to talk to you about passion. I'm going to explain to you what passion is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to tell you what passion is all about. And then at the end, I'm going to remind you what passion is all about. So now they know what to expect from you. So
Yeah.
now their antennas are up. So tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them you're going to tell them, and then remind them. And always give them a challenge at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenge them at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are my key. The other thing is you hear about butterflies in your stomach
Mm-hmm.
before you're speaking. You heard about that. Well, the moment you open your mouth, the butterflies fly up.
Mm.
Open and then prepare. Prepare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always have more information that you will need for the time allotted. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Prepare.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're using PowerPoint, remember the PowerPoint is not the presentation. It's a tool. It's not the presentation. So yeah, couple. But somebody want, I coach speakers. Make your presentation memorable. Make your presentation memorable. If you're going to tell a joke, make sure it's appropriate.
Mm.
Make sure it's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I find out ahead, what's the dress code? You don't want to be overdressed, no underdressed. What's the dress code? Because your image, the moment before you even open your mouth, they're judging you.
Mm.
You're walking. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, for me, obviously, I want to hear people out. I care about people. At the same
yeah,
time, I really don't because I stand and know what my sole purpose is, what I need to share. And I think people know and they pick up on when someone is speaking from the ego, the heart, or the mind, right?
yeah.
People don't like that. From my experience, they just
You're
want to
right.
relate to people, and people love vulnerability.
And they love to hear personal stories.
Yes.
And then the other thing is you customize your presentation to suit your audience.
Yeah.
Tell stories that, like I've been blessed to speak to, auto dealers. I go to these auto dealers. Fortunately, I sold cars in Miami for 2 years. So I bring that experience to share
Mm,
experiences so they can identify with it. And
yeah.
it makes your presentation believable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my brother.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about your books? What are they about, and why did you write them? Who are they for?
The first book is titled Verse for the Day. It's a Bible verse, but you get a Bible verse, you get a encouragement, but I also am encouraging people to journal. I believe in journaling. So on every page, you're going to get God blessed me today when and I am encouraging people to write down your blessing, and I'm telling people, don't write down that you woke up this morning. The rest of the world woke up too. Look for that special blessing. And for me, today's blessing could be meeting Bernadette. and having a conversation with her. That's special blessing. And the second, God used me today. How did you make somebody feel good and bless them? And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be saying good morning to a stranger. Hello, how are you today? Holding the door for somebody coming and walking in next to you, behind you. Simple little things. And the third is, I need to ask God to forgive me for something I did today. So that's the verse for the day. And that's totally inspired by the Holy Spirit. And then the second book is With Passion. Again, totally inspired. I know when he planted the seed in my head, where I was and all of that. And when I start writing, the pen just flowed. I teach a workshop, I do a keynote with passion, because they're based on the philosophy. People who have a passion for what they do will excel at what they do. And Bernadette, I have not met a human being yet who says to me, Lincoln, I do not want to excel. But you know what happened? Everybody get up in the morning, yeah, well, I'm going to go, and then something happens, somebody says something, and no,
Mm,
passion. And the third book that's coming out today or tomorrow is titled People-demics, and it's filling the gap in our education system. It's over 200 nuggets of people skills and personal development. I believe in the KISS formula. Keep it short and sweet. Yeah.
mm,
So those are the three books, and I don't know what else he's going to be inspire me to write. A lot of people have been encouraging me to write my memoir, but I'm not about me, I'm about you.
mm.
If that will help some other people to encourage them, inspire them, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Are you a preacher as well? I don't remember if you mentioned
Good
that.
question. Good question. I preached my first sermon when I was 16 years old
Oh, wow.
off the cuff, you know? And a lot of people came up to me after, you make a good pastor, you should go to seminary. But I was never felt called in that direction. The Lord told me, you can serve me in the world without those four walls and without being tied to any religious practice. And it so happened, it's so true. I've been invited to preach as a lay preacher to all different types of churches. I never turned down an invitation,
Hmm.
you know. So I do a Bible verse for the day every day on the, I send over 300 people get a verse from me every day. If you like, I can add you to the list. And
Yeah.
anybody else who would like to be added to the list, I think I have your email.
Hmm.
And then on Tuesdays, I do what I call my RAT. RAT stands for Retain, Apply, Transfer Tip.
Hmm.
So every Tuesday I do that. So again, is I go where I'm called.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a servant. That's one
yeah.
of my titles, servant.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm a preacher. I would say I'm a servant.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when I met a young lady when it was on Saturday. She was a technician. She came to the house to take care of the internet. And, the Lord inspired you. Pray for this young lady, Lincoln. I said, do you mind if I pray for you? I've never met a human being who I asked, do you mind if I pray for you? And they say no. Strangers. And I put my hand on her head and prayed a blessing on her.
Hmm.
She cried tears.
Wow.
And it was not tears of hurt or pain, but tears of joy and appreciation. You
Mm.
never know how you're going to impact people.
Yeah.
And the Lord is going to present opportunities for us to serve one another, to love on one another. We got to be aware and grasp the opportunity in the moment. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I love that. I really love that. I'm also a servant, and
You are. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I'm not tied to religion. I don't care what someone looks like, what language they speak.
No?
I don't care about any of that. I just want to be here to walk alongside people. That's it.
Amen.
That's all. It's not that
Yep.
hard. I just want to be here. Yeah, yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us as we wrap up this episode?
Well, I like to leave this thought with everybody whenever I do a presentation or anything.
Mhm.
You are the star in the movie of your life. Make every day an Oscar-winning performance.
Mm.
Stop existing, start living. Life was made to live. Yep, and be the best you that you were designed to be. Don't settle for okay. Thank you.
Wow. That's a wrap, everybody. Wow. Wow. I love that. Stop existing. Start living.
Yep.
Incredible.
Like
Lincoln.
I tell people, don't go to work tomorrow. Go to perform.
Mm,
Don't go to church on Sunday. Go to worship.
hmm.
Stop making list of things to do and start making things of list to achieve. It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Where can they buy your book and
Well,
work
my
with
website is available in Barnes and Noble. It's available on Amazon.com. If they want a signed copy, they can get it off of my website. Yeah.
you?
I'm going to email you a complimentary digital copy of the With Passion book.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Thank you.
you're
I have
welcome.
one last question for you that I ask every guest. Are you
Yes.
ready?
Am I ready? I
Yes,
was I was born ready
that's awesome. All right. What is the meaning of life for you?
to serve one another,
You were ready. I
to,
knew it.
to serve my people. If I can, make somebody put a smile on a stranger's face,
Hmm.
I once a day, twice a day, to glorify my Father, to glorify Him.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
mission.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah. Thank you. Well, LinkedIn, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for blessing me with your wisdom, your journey, and your passion. Thank you.
you're welcome, and I'm going to add you to the verse for the day list and the Rat Tuesday tip.
Yeah.
That okay? And I'll email you a digital copy of the With Passion book. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
God bless you, my friend, and I'm glad we connected and we'll stay connected.
We will. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.